I've seen so many of these adorable little macrame gnomes that I just needed to give it a try for myself. So that's what we're gonna do today. The first thing I'm gonna do is actually just plug in my hot glue gun, because our little gnome or Santa or whatever you wanna call him, he needs a nose and he's gonna need some hot glue. So full disclosure, I have yet to make one of these and I just really wanted to give it a try because I think it's so cute. So the first one we're gonna do is with some actual macrame string. This is 3mm. And then I think for the little beard, we're gonna use some wool roving to give it a bit of a unique look. All you're gonna need for this really is some yarn or string, wool roving, a toilet paper roll, and some sort of wooden bead or some kind of bead for the nose. So the first thing I'm gonna do is cut off a piece of this. I'm gonna go about this much, which to me looks like a bit over 1/2 inch, probably more like 3/4. And this is gonna be the base of the hat. Then we need to decide how big the hat is actually going to be. So I just wanna kind of figure out how long this needs to be. That looks pretty good there. So let's measure out what that is. So it's about 11.5 inches. So I'm gonna cut a bunch of 11.5 inch pieces of this string. Let's start with that. And basically all we're gonna do is we're going to take our pieces, fold them in half, put them around our little piece of cardboard here, like so, and then bring these two tails through the loop and tighten it up. And we basically just want to cover the whole piece of cardboard with that. Okay, so I have this covered now, and I think I have enough strands on here to nicely cover the whole piece of cardboard. I'm kind of going back and tightening up any of the knots that seem a little on the loose side. And then what I need to do now is gather all of these strands and tie them up so that they actually look like a little toque or a beanie if you're not Canadian. So I'm gonna take another strand of my 3mm string and I'm gonna give myself a nice long length just to be sure. And I'm gonna take my string and I'm gonna wrap it around so there's like 2 wraps. Let's see what happens when we tighten it up. And that looks good there. I'm gonna tie this in a knot so that it doesn't come undone. I'm going to attempt to tuck these little tails in. So I'm taking just a little yarn needle. This one is metal. I'm going to thread my string through it. And then I'm going to take these ends and fish them through so they just kind of become part of the toque as well. Or the hat, or the beanie, whatever you want to call it. So now it's all gathered together. We need to sort of trim off the excess. And this is where we can decide how tall we want this hat. I think I'm gonna make it quite a bit shorter. Let's just go with that. And then from there, I'm going to take some of this wool roving. This is just kind of a scrap piece, so it's a little bit of a mess, but I'm gonna try to find some ends here. And then, so now I have this really like wispy piece, which is definitely more beard-like. And I'm gonna just take the top and roll it until I get to about a length that I'm happy with that can kind of be tucked into the top of this. And then we'll put this little nose right here. Now, I wanna think about a hanging string on this, and what I'm wondering about, I actually think what the best idea might be is to add that in now. I'm gonna use a piece of warp string. This is 8/8 warp string. We'll just glue it up into the top. So I'm just taking a little length and then I'll tie a knot in one end. Then I'm taking my yarn needle again. I'm threading this through and I'm going to just push this through the top middle of the hat. And then I'm gonna dab a little bit of glue in there because I'm concerned that if I don't put glue, it'll just pull through eventually. I'm gonna put the glue on the actual string. So I pulled out the string, I'm gonna dab some glue on here. And then I'm just gonna dangle this and pull the string up and then just squish it in there. Okay, I think that'll be just fine. So we've got our string. Now we need to put this beard in, and I do want to glue it. I think that's pretty good actually. So I'm gonna put a bunch of glue on the very top of my little wool bundle. And like I said, you guys, I have not done this before, so I'm kind of just making this up as I go along because I wanted to see if I could do it with the roving as the beard. Okay. We've got a bunch of glue on there, and now we have to carefully feed this in. Oh, and I just got burned a little bit. And then the last thing we need to do is add this little nose. Now, I'm wondering if I should partially glue it to the actual toque, because otherwise I feel like it's gonna put some weird pressure on the roving. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna glue it right here, put a bunch of glue in there, and then I'm doing like the whole kind of up. Okay, we've got that in there. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. And then just for peace of mind, I'm also gonna glue it to the beard, and of course I had to set my glue gun down in the wrong spot. So a little bit of glue on the beard, and then I'm just gonna push the beard into the nose. And there we have our little bearded, I mean, you could call it a Santa, you could call it a gnome, but oh my word, he is so cute. That was actually pretty easy. I'm quite pleased with it. Click right here to watch more of our Christmas tutorials.